Ladies and gentlemen, our honor guard representing the Culpeper County Sheriff's Department. Culpeper County Sheriff's Department.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Very nice. The Culpeper County Sheriff's Department Honor Guard, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give it up for our Honor Guard, and let's give it up for Kendra Callahan singing the national anthem. My brother just told her she gets better each year, and she really does. Thank you, Kendra. The Culpeper County Sheriff's Department, ladies and gentlemen, under the direction of Sheriff Tim Chilton, and I believe this is Tim Chilton's first year in our parade because last year we were rained out. Welcome to Brandy Station, Sheriff. And then we have the Virginia State Police, who also has an office right here in downtown Brandy Station. And this is their new Mustang vehicle. Ford Mustang. Patrol car. Robert Aldrich. This is the Culpeper County Sheriff's Office Cadets and Star Cadets. Cadets and Star Cadets. Very nice, very nice. This is a program that was started a few years ago, and it's a fantastic, very beneficial program. Cadets and Star Cadets. The Culpeper County Sheriff's Office Community Trust Partners. Community Trust Partners from the Culpeper County Sheriff's Office. And then we have our motor patrol units from the Culpeper Town Police Department. Our motor patrol units from the Culpeper Town Police Department. There's the Chief, Chris Settle, our Chief of Police, Chris Settle, riding one of the motorcycles, our motor patrol unit. Community Services from the Culpeper Town Police Department. And of course, their motto is to protect and serve. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. The Culpeper Town Police Department. The Brandy Station Volunteer Fire Department, Wagon 2 from the Brandy Station Volunteer Fire Department. Ladies and gentlemen, a program that started 3 or 4 years ago now by Caitlin Trollio and Cameron Scott, our fire chief, is Rookie Camp. This past year, we had over 70 kids from ages 6 to 15. They're taught both fire prevention and life skills, building for the future of the fire service and the future of the Brandy Station Volunteer Fire Department. So let's give it up to the Brandy Station Volunteer Fire Department Junior Rookie Camp. Miss Terry Yao, our Commissioner of the Revenue. Terry Yao, our Commissioner of the Revenue. Missy White, our Culpeper County Treasurer. Missy White, our Culpeper County Treasurer. Carson Beard, our County Circuit Court Clerk. Carson W. Beard, the Clerk of the Circuit Court for Culpeper County. We then have Mr. Russ Rabb, the Culpeper County Commonwealth Attorney. Russ Rabb, the Culpeper Commonwealth Attorney. Two of our local dignitaries here tonight. We have the Culpeper Town Mayor, Frank Reeves, and the Culpeper County Chairman of the Board of Supervisors, David Durr. David Durr, the Culpeper County Chairman of the Board of Supervisors, and Frank Reeves, the Culpeper Town Mayor. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you very much. Then we have the Culpeper Town Manager, Christopher Havley, and our Culpeper County Administrator, Sam McLaren. Sam McLaren, and this is his first year representing, being the county administrator here in Brandy Station, so we want to welcome him to our parade. Elizabeth Hutchins, who represents the Stevensburg District on the Culpeper County School Board. Elizabeth Hutchins, Culpeper County School Board representing the Stevensburg District. Ladies and gentlemen, our Culpeper County Board of Supervisors member, also representing the Stevensburg District, Susan Gugino. Susan Gugino, the Culpeper County Board of Supervisors member, representing the Stevensburg District. WJMA and Sam FM, being driven by Ed Downtown Junior Brown. Ed Downtown Junior Brown, who is a Brandy Station guy for years and years. WJMA and Sam FM on your radio dial. Thompson Auto Repair, ladies and gentlemen. Thompson Auto Repair. Owned and operated by Donnie Thompson. Thompson Auto Repair. Located right here in Brandy Station, Virginia. Culpeper County Office of Emergency Services, ladies and gentlemen. Company number 12, the Culpeper County Emergency Services. This is Ambulance 12-6. Company 11 from Culpeper County, the Culpeper County Volunteer Rescue Squad. Company 11, the Culpeper County Volunteer Rescue Squad. From Company 1, Culpeper County Volunteer Fire Department, and Car 1 from the Culpeper County Volunteer Fire Department, Car 1. Following Car 1 is Brush 1 from the Culpeper County Volunteer Fire Department. And following Brush 1 is Wagon 1 from the Culpeper County Volunteer Fire Department. Wagon 1 from the Culpeper County Volunteer Fire Department. This is a new piece of equipment for them. They just got it here in the last 6 to 7 months or so. The Culpeper County Volunteer Fire Department, Wagon 1. Following Wagon 1 is Tower 1 from the Culpeper County Volunteer Fire Department, Tower 1. Ladies and gentlemen, Another one of our departments here in Culpeper County, the Richardsville Volunteer Fire Rescue Department, company number 6, the Richardsville Volunteer Fire Rescue Department. Following their gator is Command 1206 from the Richardsville Volunteer Fire Rescue Department. And they're blowing bubbles. And then we have Support 1206 from the Richardsville Volunteer Fire Rescue Department. And following the Support is Tanker 1206, again from the Richardsville Volunteer Fire Rescue Department. Company 8, ladies and gentlemen, the Salem Volunteer Fire Rescue Department, Support 8 from the Salem Volunteer Fire Rescue Department. Followed by Wagon 8, again from Company 8, the Salem Volunteer Fire Rescue Department. And following that is the ambulance from the Salem Volunteer Fire Rescue Department. Ladies and gentlemen, approaching the judges' stand now, Company 9 from Culpeper County, the Little Fork Volunteer Fire Rescue Department. Little Fork Volunteer Fire Rescue, Chief 1209 from the Little Fork Volunteer Fire Rescue Department. Ambulance 9, again from the Little Fork Volunteer Fire Rescue Department. Followed by Wagon 9, again from the Little Fork Volunteer Fire Rescue Department. Rescue 1209, again from the Little Fork Volunteer Fire Rescue Department, Rescue 1209. And following the rescue is the Tanker from Tanker 9 from the Little Fork Volunteer Fire Rescue Department. And ladies and gentlemen, Little Fork Volunteer Fire Rescue Department is our technical large animal rescue team here in the county. And this is their Equine 1209 unit. Equine 1209 unit from the Little Fork Volunteer Fire Rescue Department. Ladies and gentlemen, Company 10. Company 10, the Rapidan Volunteer Fire Department. Support 10 from the Rapidan Volunteer Fire Department. Is it? Followed by Wagon 10. There he is, Little Chief there. Little Chief from the Rapidan Volunteer Fire Department, Wagon 10. Company 16 from Culpeper County, the Reba Volunteer Fire Rescue Department. This is a rescue engine from the Reba Volunteer Fire Rescue Department, Company 16. Culpeper Petroleum Co-op, ladies and gentlemen, Southern States dealer. Culpeper Petroleum Co-op, your local Southern States dealer. They have a location in Culpeper and then another location here in downtown Elkwood. Culpeper Petroleum Co-op. VFW, ladies and gentlemen, VFW Post 2524. Burton Hammond, VFW Post 2524. Thank you all for your service to our country and keeping us free. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, this antique piece of fire equipment is owned by Mark Olson, and driving the rear end or the tiller is John Murphy. John Murphy on the tiller there. The Culpeper County High School Marching Blue Devils, ladies and gentlemen, under the direction of Nathan Childs, the band director. The Culpeper County High School Marching Blue Devils. YMCA. Let's give it up, ladies and gentlemen, for the Culpeper County High School Marching Blue Devils. This is a king and queen, Dave and Dora, from the Culpeper Senior Center. The king is Dave and the queen is Dora, again from the Culpeper Senior Center, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all. This is the other part of Encompass Community Supports. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I know that young lady. That's Miss Berry. I've known her a couple years. Encompass Community Supports, providing H2O. They're not throwing out candy, they're passing out H2O, which equals water. Happy birthdays, Older Americans Act. 60 Older Americans Act. Encompass Community Supports, keeping it cool, 60 and better. Take off pounds sensibly. Take off pounds sensibly, which abbreviated, that is TOPS, T-O-P-S. Take off pounds sensibly. Real people, real weight loss. The TOPS Club Incorporated. Thank you all. Must be something about bubbles this year, because everybody's making bubbles. Maybe I'll start making bubbles too. Thank you all. Ladies and gentlemen, in case you didn't know it, there's a big election coming up in November, which there usually is. This is the Culpeper County Republican Committee, ladies and gentlemen. The Culpeper County Republican Committee. We have a lot of local elections coming up this year in different districts. And then, of course, we have a governor's election here in Virginia this year. This is the Republican committee, the Republican candidates. There you see the Virginia's Dream Team, Winsome Sears, John Reed, and Jason Myers. The Culpeper County Republican Committee invites you to join our ranks. Ladies and gentlemen, from Broadway, Virginia, you heard it, Broadway, Virginia, we have the Valley Glitterettes. The Valley Glitterettes from Broadway, Virginia. The Valley Glitterettes, ladies and gentlemen, from Broadway, Virginia, which is across the mountains. Thank you all for coming this year. The Valley Glitterettes. Chick-fil-A, ladies and gentlemen, Chick-fil-A. And if you want one of the happening places in Culpeper, Chick-fil-A is one of those places, because you can't usually get in the parking lot of the Chick-fil-A. From Greene County, ladies and gentlemen, we have the Dyke Volunteer Fire Department. From Greene County, the Dyke Volunteer Fire Department. We have a brush unit from the Dyke Volunteer Fire Department, followed by their support unit pulling their gator. And this is a big thing now in the fire service. We have one here in Brandy Station. This carries water, it carries hose, it carries assortment of tools for those hard to get places that are hard to get a regular vehicle to. And they come in handy, especially for certain terrains. The Dyke Volunteer Fire Department, Station 3 from Greene County. Thank you all. Mandy Brown, running for Board of Supervisors representing the Cedar Mountain District. Mandy Brown, candidate for Board of Supervisors representing the Cedar Mountain District. Ladies and gentlemen, representing one of our local churches, they're right beside us, and we work hand in hand a lot of times for different things. The Heritage Baptist Church, located right here in Brandy Station. Their pastor is Bruce Fincham. The Heritage Baptist Church from Brandy Station, Pastor Bruce Fincham. Heritage Baptist Church, right here in Brandy Station, ladies and gentlemen, located right next door to our fire station. Germanna Community College Police Department, ladies and gentlemen, Germanna Community College. They have a location right across the county line in Orange and Locust Grove. They have one in Fredericksburg. They have one in Stafford. Germanna Community College Police Department. From Spotsylvania County, ladies and gentlemen, we have the Spotsylvania County Air and Light Unit. We have the Chief of the Spotsylvania Volunteer Fire Department, Brad Williams, the Chief, and Mrs. Chief. From the Spotsylvania County Volunteer Fire Department, their Light and Air Unit. This is a new piece of equipment and it looks very nice. Ladies and gentlemen, the Eastern View High School Marching Cyclones. Eastern View Marching Cyclones. Under the direction of Mr. Adam Roach, the band director for the Eastern View Marching Cyclones. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for the Eastern View High School Marching Cyclones under the direction of Adam Roach, the band director. Again, just a couple days in school and they're well represented here tonight. Thank you all. Ladies and gentlemen, one of our partners very much in public safety, we couldn't do it a lot of times, Rusty's Towing. Rusty's Towing, owned and operated by Rusty Crow. Rusty's Towing. When we call them for help, they come and help us out. Rusty's Towing Service, a good partner of the Brandy Station Volunteer Fire Department. Rusty's Towing Services with offices in Culpeper and Warrenton, Virginia. And I can tell that somebody has spent a lot of time today putting these things in immaculate shape. Can't you tell it? Immaculate shape. 24-hour service from Rusty's Towing Service. Quinn Busher, ladies and gentlemen. Quinn Busher. This is a newborn Miss Front Row Volunteer Fire Department Honorary Fire Chief from 2024. Quinn Busher. And she is certainly precious. Thank you for coming from Front Row Volunteer Fire Department. Quinn Busher, newborn Miss Front Row Volunteer Fire Department Honorary Fire Chief 2024. Ladies and gentlemen, from Loudoun County, Virginia. That's it, Loudoun County, Virginia. We have the Sterling Volunteer Fire Department, Utility 618B. Sterling Volunteer Fire Department, Utility 618B. Followed by Brush 611 from the Sterling Volunteer Fire Department up in Loudoun County, Virginia. They're up there next to Dulles Airport, not too far from Dulles Airport. Sterling Volunteer Fire Department, ladies and gentlemen. Wagons or engine 618 from the Sterling Volunteer Fire Department. Thank you all for coming. Ladies and gentlemen, another towing service that really works well with our volunteer fire department, Hooking Up Towing, ladies and gentlemen. That is Mr. Scott right there with Hooking Up Towing. I always like that name, Hooking Up. Whoever came up with that is a genius in my mind. Hooking Up Towing. Thank you all. Hooking Up Towing, 24/7 service, again right here in Culpeper. Hooking Up, 24-hour service, ladies and gentlemen. Right here in Culpeper, Hooking Up. Wise Services and Recycling, ladies and gentlemen. Wise Services and Recycling. And this is another company that works really well with our volunteer fire department. Wise Services and Recycling. Right here in Culpeper, Virginia, Wise Services and Recycling. Tiny Miss Amosville, Tatum Good, 2025. Tiny Miss Amosville, Tatum Good, 2025. And then we have Little Miss Amosville, Mila Good, 2025. Little Miss Amosville, Mila Good, 2025. From Rappahannock County, ladies and gentlemen, Company 3, the Amosville Volunteer Fire Rescue Department, Ambulance 3 from the Amosville Volunteer Fire Rescue Department. followed by Attack 3 from the Amosville Volunteer Fire Rescue Department. And ladies and gentlemen, here it is. Here comes Batman. There's the Batman tune. Ladies and gentlemen, Batman, there he is. Hope for everyone, ladies and gentlemen, hope for everyone. Batman right here in downtown Brandy Station. This is a McEwen family fire truck. I'm sorry, McQuinn family fire truck. McQuinn family fire truck, ladies and gentlemen. The Madison County Sheriff's Office. The Madison County Sheriff's Office. Followed by the Madison County Volunteer Fire Company, Brush 4, and the gentleman on this side there is Mr. Jack Frey. He was a good friend of Ben Franklin when Ben Franklin started the first volunteer fire department. Jack Frey from the Madison County Volunteer Fire Company. Ladies and gentlemen, now you recognize this vehicle without me telling you who it is. When it's 10 degrees outside, it's snowing, and it's cold, and the lights go out, you don't have any water, you can't take a shower, you can't do anything, who do you call? Rappahannock Electric Cooperative. REC, Rappahannock Electric Cooperative. The Heritage Shrine Club, ladies and gentlemen, from King George, Virginia. The Heritage Shrine Club. This is always a big hit in our parade, the Shriners, ladies and gentlemen. And I know everybody knows and sees those advertisements on TV on what the Shriners do for children. And it is amazing what the Shriners do for children. And we want to give it up for the Shriners. Let's give the Shriners a big hand for everything they do for children across America. The Heritage Shrine Club from King George, Virginia. And you recognize that head up above there, that symbol, that is the Shriners, that is the ACA Shriners from Richmond, Virginia. Thank you all for coming. The ACA Shriners, ladies and gentlemen, from King George, Virginia, the ACA Shriners Group. Thank you very much for coming to our parade, sir. Don't be sorry, you're moving. That's the main thing, isn't it? There you go, there you go. There you go. From Nelson County, ladies and gentlemen, we have the Wintergreen Fire Rescue Department. From Nelson County, the Wintergreen Volunteer Fire Rescue Department. One of our private ambulance companies in the area here, the Guardian Medical Services. Guardian Medical Services. Guardian Medical Services, ladies and gentlemen. Now, everybody recognizes these vehicles, just like we said about Rappahannock Electric. These green vehicles, Green for Life is what GFL stands for, Green for Life. GFL, ladies and gentlemen, GFL Environmental. Yep. GFL, Green for Life, Environmental. And they help our volunteer fire department out a lot too. with trash removal, roll-offs, trash carts, GFL, Green for Life. The big potato truck, ladies and gentlemen, all the way from the potato capital of America, Idaho. Idaho. Look at here. The big potato truck from Idaho. This is the famous Idaho Potato Tour. Thank you all for coming very much. Thank you very much. You're always welcome in downtown Brandy Station. The famous Idaho Potato Tour. Ladies and gentlemen, from Prince William County, Virginia, we have Company 25, Tower 25 from the Nokesville Volunteer Fire Department. Prince William County, Tower 25 from the Nokesville Volunteer Fire Department. And this is Engine Company 525 from the Nokesville Volunteer Fire Department. Engine 525. Ladies and gentlemen, this is our Kena Legion of Honor Highlanders Pipes and Drums. The pipes and drums from the Kena Shriners. And this is our Legion of Honor from the Kena Shriners down in Prince William County. Thank you all for coming. Very nice. The Kena Temple Shriners, and again, like I said, the Shriners do so much good for children all across America. The Kena Shriners. Shriners helping children from Manassas, Virginia. The Kena Camel Herders, ladies and gentlemen. The Kena Camel Herders from the Kena Shriners of Manassas, Virginia. Thank you all. Thank you all for coming. The Kena Shriners. And again, the Shriners do so much good all across America for children. And now we have the mini Corvettes from the Kena 500. The Kena Shriners, ladies and gentlemen, Patriot Shrine Club from Monroe, Virginia. We are all volunteers is their motto. Shriners helping kids. The Twirling Medallions Majorette and Drum Corps, ladies and gentlemen, from Elkton, Virginia, over in Rockingham County. medallions, majorettes, ladies and gentlemen. They have their seniors, juniors, tiny tots, and drum corps. Let's give up a big round of applause for the twirling medallions. Americans in wartime experience, ladies and gentlemen. Americans in wartime experience. The Voices of Freedom. And this is their mobile recording studio. You've probably seen this on TV, advertised on TV. Americans in wartime experience. Very nice. Operation First Response. Operation First Response, serving wounded heroes and their families. Operation First Response. The High Horse Cloggers, ladies and gentlemen, from Standardsville, Virginia. The High Horse Cloggers. The High Horse Cloggers from Standardsville, Virginia. Very nice, the High Horse Cloggers from Standardsville, Virginia. Junior Brooks, I want to see you start doing that here tonight. All right. Thank you all for coming. The High Horse Cloggers, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give it up for them tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, Serve Pro of Culpeper and Fauquier Counties. Serve Pro of Culpeper and Fauquier Counties. Serve Pro. Ladies and gentlemen, we are honored to have Miss Virginia Madison Whitbeck. Madison Whitbeck, Miss Virginia 2025. Let's give it up for Madison Whitbeck, Miss Virginia. And she is sponsored by Hilltop Motors. Hilltop Motors, ladies and gentlemen. The Old Country Store and Bakery, right here in Culpeper. The Old Country Store and Bakery. Country Boy Quads. ATV, UTV Group. Country Boy Quads. They were pretty. Country Boy Quads, ATV, UTV Group. From Fauquier County, ladies and gentlemen, we have company number 2, Utility 2 from the Remington Volunteer Fire Rescue Department. Utility 2, Remington Volunteer Fire Rescue Department. Following the utility is Engine 2 from the Remington Volunteer Fire Rescue Department. Engine 2. And following Engine 2 is Tanker 2. from the Remington Volunteer Fire Rescue Department, Tanker 2. And following Tanker 2 from Remington is Rescue 2 from the Remington Volunteer Fire Rescue Department from Fauquier County. Ladies and gentlemen, running for the Board of Supervisors representing the Stevensburg District, Dwayne Payne. Dwayne Payne for Board of Supervisors representing the Stevensburg District here in Culpeper County. And they have part of their Culpeper Republican Committee walking with them and giving out candy. Dwayne Payne, candidate for the Board of Supervisors for the Stevensburg District. The Virginia Department of Wildlife Resources Conservation Police Department, ladies and gentlemen. Let me repeat that again because it's a mouthful. The Virginia Department of Wildlife Resources Conservation Police Department. Conserve, connect, and protect is their motto. Evergrow Co-op FS. Evergrow Co-op FS. They have propane and they have lubricants. Evergrow Co-op FS. R&P. I don't think so. Gotta be. R&P Repair. Maybe. The Culpeper County Democratic Committee, ladies and gentlemen. Give it up for the Culpeper County Democratic Committee. As I said earlier, we have a big governor's race here in Virginia this year. Abigail Spanberger, candidate for governor in the great Commonwealth of Virginia. Sarah Ratcliffe, House of Delegates, Bennington delegate, and Farmers for Spanberger. The Culpeper County Democratic Committee. Tommy's Towing, ladies and gentlemen, Tommy's Towing. From Culpeper, Virginia, Tommy's Towing. Tommy's Towing, ladies and gentlemen, right here in Culpeper, Virginia. From Louisa County, ladies and gentlemen, we have the Holly Grove Volunteer Fire Department, Engine 4 from the Holly Grove Volunteer Fire Department from Louisa County. Ladies and gentlemen, another one of our antique fire apparatus entries this year. 1959 Maxim, originally owned by Vienna Volunteer Fire Department. now owned by the Hood family. 1959 Maxim, originally part of the Vienna Volunteer Fire Department down in Fairfax, now owned by the Hood family. Mr. George Hood. Thank you all. This is a 1964 Maxim, also originally owned by Vienna, and it is also owned by the George Hood family. Virginia Regional Transit, ladies and gentlemen, or better known as the Culpeper Trolley. Virginia Regional Transit, like I said, I call it the Culpeper Trolley. From Orange County, ladies and gentlemen, from Orange County, we have the Lake in the Woods Volunteer Rescue Squad. The Lake in the Woods Volunteer Rescue Squad, Company 29 from Orange County. This is a new piece of equipment, pretty new for the very new, matter of fact, Tanker 29 from the Lake in the Woods Volunteer Fire Department, Tanker 29. Thank you all. Thank you. And following Tanker 29, also a new piece of equipment, is Brush 29 from the Lake in the Woods Volunteer Fire Department. And that is an old pal there riding in the seat, Mr. Greg Litz, who I've only known for a couple years, but he is a good fella. Greg Litz from the Lake in the Woods Volunteer Fire Department. Tanker 29, Brush 29. Ladies and gentlemen, VW Cruisers and Skyline Auto, owned and operated by Grant Fincham. Skyline Auto and VW Cruisers, ladies and gentlemen. Used to see a lot of these on the road, ladies and gentlemen, years ago. The VW Cruisers and Skyline Auto. Again, Skyline Auto operated by Grant Fincham. There you go, you got one pulling another one. The VW Cruisers and Skyline Auto. Thank you. There's Mr. Darren Stevens, ladies and gentlemen. Darren Stevens with an antique fire engine there. Look at that. I like that. I like that a whole lot. Darren Stevens, ladies and gentlemen. From Louisa County, ladies and gentlemen, we have the Lake Anna Volunteer Rescue Squad. Lake Anna Volunteer Rescue from Louisa County. Ladies and gentlemen, from up in Loudoun County again, we have the Arcola Pleasant Valley Volunteer Fire Department. The Arcola Pleasant Valley Volunteer Fire Department with their Power Wagon unit. Followed by their brush unit, Brush 609 from the Arcola Volunteer Fire Department. Ladies and gentlemen, from Shenandoah County, we have the Toms Brook Volunteer Fire Department. The Toms Brook Volunteer Fire Department, Rescue Engine 9. Rescue Engine 9 from the Toms Brook Volunteer Fire Department. The Fauquier County Sheriff's Department, ladies and gentlemen. You might recognize this car from Andy Williams on TV. The Fauquier County Sheriff's Department. From Louisa County, ladies and gentlemen, we have the Mineral Volunteer Fire Department, Tanker 2. From the Mineral Volunteer Fire Department, Tanker 2. Ladies and gentlemen, if you recognize this vehicle, this is a 1952 Dodge Ambulance from the movie MASH. 1952 Dodge Ambulance from the movie MASH, and this is from the Freedom Museum. The Freedom Museum, Army Medical Services. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Bridge Community Church Canteen Unit. This ministry is run through the Bridge Community Church in Warrenton, Virginia. In the 7 years they've been in service, they have served almost 6,000 first responders and 10,000 citizens during emergency incidents. Their primary focus is in Fauquier County, but they also serve in surrounding county, Madison, Culpeper. They've also taken 2-week-long trips to North Carolina after Hurricane Helen. The Bridge Community Church Emergency Services Canteen Unit. And then we have the Barbecue Rescue. The Barbecue Rescue is a 1959 E1 rescue squad that served in Fairfax County. When the unit was retired, it was purchased and converted into a food truck. The Barbecue Rescue serves up some amazing barbecue for several years, but it has now been retired and it is currently for sale. J.D. Newman Incorporated, ladies and gentlemen. J.D. Newman. The Salvation Army of Virginia, the Piedmont, Virginia, the Salvation Army, doing the most good. Charles Clegg Racing. Charles Clegg Racing, ladies and gentlemen. Charles Clegg Racing. Racing for line workers. Salty Dog Brewing Company. 1973 Mac CF 600. Salty Dog Brewing Company. Captain Corbin's Seafood, ladies and gentlemen. Captain Corbin's Seafood. Located right here in Culpeper, Virginia. Captain Corbin. Captain Corbin's Seafood. Ladies and gentlemen, from the Antique Fire Truck Rides, Antique Fire Truck Rides, LLC. Victor Lewis, ladies and gentlemen, Victor Lewis. And Bobby Dotson, Lewis, and Bobby Dotson. Ladies and gentlemen, we hope you've enjoyed our 2025 Brandy Station Volunteer Firemen's Parade here this evening. We've had gorgeous weather, nice cool weather. We couldn't have asked for any better weather. Thank you all again, ladies and gentlemen. Please go home safely tonight.